Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're going to be checking out some pretty spicy battles in the Open Great League featuring an XL level 51 NIDORINA. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, so many thanks for the battle submission. Now, as you guys may know, Nidoqueen has basically fallen off in the Great League, but this trainer says where Nidoqueen has fallen, maybe NIDORINA can be the answer. They pair it up with an Obstagoon and a Skarmory. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out XL level 51 NIDORINA in action in the Great League. Hopping to the first match, picking up a terrible lead, Obstagoon into Medicham, immediate save switch into the XL NIDORINA. NIDORINA farming up a ton of energy here. Medicham has built up to the Psychic, so we will see an immediate shield from the NIDORINA. Medicham full sends the Psychic, they save switch into Lickitung, and Lickitung will be met with so much loaded energy from the NIDORINA. NIDORINA is going to need to spam out quite a few of these Poison Fangs, as Lickitung is extremely bulky. Going for Poison Fang number 2, that's going to connect. Damage starting to add up on the Lickitung. Lickitung going for a body slam, and we see an immediate no shield from the NIDORINA. NIDORINA continuing to farm, going for Poison Fang number 3. This Lickitung is now 2 stages debuffed, able to grab a shield from the Lickitung. Lickitung continuing to farm. Lickitung going for another body slam, and we're going to see NIDORINA commit the final shield, trying to make a play for switch advantage, and it looks like NIDORINA is going to be able to do exactly that. Going for another Poison Fang. Lickitung shields, but NIDORINA is too spammy, reaching yet another Poison Fang plus the Poison Stings KO, and able to win switch. In comes Medicham, but NIDORINA is still not done, able to reach yet another Poison Fang. So winning switch and getting to debuff the Medicham in the process. In the back, opponent has Bastiodon, and winning switch means winning this entire game. Obstagoon will absolutely feast on the Bastiodon, lands the cross chop, opponent sees the writing on the wall, and concedes the match. Tough leads continue in the next match. Obstagoon into Altaria. Immediate save switch into NIDORINA. NIDORINA farming up a ton of energy. Altaria gonna stay in here and go for the Sky Attack. We will see an immediate no shield here from the NIDORINA. Opponent is gonna send in a Spark Lantern. NIDORINA going for the Poison Fang. Poison Fang is going to be no shielded. That is a bit unfortunate. NIDORINA farming up. Lantern makes it to a Surf. NIDORINA has a lot of energy. NIDORINA commits the shield. NIDORINA farming up and going for the bait. This could be massive. Is the opponent going to shield? Yes, they are. NIDORINA farming up, makes it to the dig on the CMP tie. Do they respect the damage? They do not, and Lantern gets KO'd. In the back, the opponent has Registeel. Registeel looking for the farm down here. NIDORINA able to withstand the lock-ons and make it to another dig. Dig, not the greatest move in the world, but still going to hit that Registeel for some serious damage. In comes the Obstagoon. Obstagoon will have to respect a potential Focus Blast here. Registeel goes for the Focus Blast. Registeel continuing to farm up here. Obstagoon going for the Night Slash. Obstagoon will be able to force the final shield from the Registeel. Registeel commits the shield. It's a CMP tie, and this Focus Blast is going to devastate the Obstagoon. Obstagoon gets one shot. In comes Skarmory. Opponent switched out, and that basically should be game over here. Altaria has taken some damage from the Poison Stings earlier in the match, and Skarmory does quite well in the zeros here. Skarmory just has to be able to overfarm slightly in this matchup so we can outpace the Registeel, and this should be game over. Skarmory tanks the Sky Attack perfectly fine here. Altaria going for another charge move. This is going to get the Skarmory into the red. Skarmory doesn't have a lot of HP remaining, but is going to overfarm by 1, and that is going to prove to be extremely important here, as this should allow Skarmory to outpace the Registeel, survive the lock-ons, and make it to the Sky Attack. What an ending, as Skarmory clutches the win. The tough leads continue in the next match. Obstagoon into Shadow Venusaur, immediate save switch into NIDORINA, and the Venusaur is actually going to stay in here and go for a Frenzy Plant. Now, NIDORINA is a pure poison type. It doesn't have the ground subtyping that Nidoqueen does, so the Frenzy Plant is only resisted instead of neutral. Opponent is finally going to counter swap as they send in Umbreon. Umbreon is very tanky, so it will be able to absorb multiple Poison Fangs, but honestly, the goal in this moment isn't really to flip switch. Instead, you can just soften up the Umbreon, and that should hopefully set up the Obstagoon for a very nice farm down. Obstagoon goes with foul play. NIDORINA able to survive, but unfortunately cannot get the move off. In comes the Obstagoon, and this is Obstagoon's opportunity to farm up a ton of energy, because Obstagoon's energy will honestly be very useful going up against the Shadow Venusaur. The Shadow Venusaur doesn't quite have the same bulk compared to the regular. Umbreon makes it to another last resort. We are going to see a farm down. Obstagoon leaving with so much energy. In comes the Venusaur, and this Shadow Venusaur is not going to have a great day going up against the back-to-back Night Slashes. Obstagoon going for Night Slash number 2, looking to apply some pressure onto the opponent. Gets a shield. In comes Skarmory. In the back, it's a Shadow Walrein. Now, this matchup is honestly not the most comfortable for Shadow Walrein at a shield deficit. Walrein goes for the Icicle Spear. We are going to see a shield from the Skarmory. Skarmory continuing to farm, met with Icicle Spear number 2. Are you willing to give up the final shield here? Yes. Skarmory will commit the final shield. Skarmory at the back-to-back Sky Attacks. Decision time for the Walrein. Is this the move you shield? They let it through. Skarmory looking for the farm down, can't quite get there as Walrein reaches one final Icicle Spear. Icicle Spear not gonna KO. In comes the Shadow Venusaur, and now it's gonna be a race. Can Shadow Venusaur KO the Skarmory? We see an aggressive switch into the Obstagoon to force the energy. A beautiful play, as this should prevent Venusaur from reaching a move versus the Skarmory. Skarmory gets to the Sky Attack. Sky Attack will be taking care of the Shadow Venusaur, and that is a good game. We finally see a good lead in the next match, Obstagoon into Galarian Stunfisk, and even better, the Stunfisk is staying in, which means they are probably pretty weak to Obstagoon in the back, maybe a ghost type like Trevenant. Cross Chop is able to connect, Stunfisk continues to farm, they do have enough energy for the Earthquake here. Decision time for the Obstagoon, commits the shield, it's the Earthquake, opponent save switches into Defense Deoxys, and Deoxys will immediately be met with the loaded Night Slash from the Goon. Night Slash able to connect, and now in comes the Nidorina. Nidorina going for the Poison Fang right off the bat. Let's deal some damage and lower the Deoxys' defense. Deoxys commits an early shield. That is quite nice for Nidorina. Decision time, do you shield the Psycho Boost here? Nidorina lets it through. Psycho Boost is able to land, and the Deoxys does have the back-to-back here. Nidorina, Psycho Boost, barely able to hang on and make it to the last second Poison Fang. That is quite nice. Poison Fang gets shielded. Opponent is going to save that Deoxys for later. So my best guess is that they are ABA weak to Goon, and they're recognizing they need the Deoxys to get rid of this Obstagoon. But the unfortunate thing for the opponent here is switch clock is up. So the moment they send in Deoxys, you can just switch into Skarmory, and Skarmory will be able to get rid of the Deoxys. Night Slash lands, in comes Skarmory. Skarmory almost able to get the farm down. Deoxys able to reach a last second Psycho Boost. That's not going to do a lot of damage. In the back, the opponent has a regular Walrein. So not the Trevenant we were expecting, but still a Pokemon that is very, very weak to Obstagoon. Skarmory farms up a ton of energy, going for the Brave Bird. Brave Bird connects. And at this point, this game is over. They fire off the Icicle Spear. Icicle Spear plus a Powder Snow is going to KO, but the Obstagoon is not going to be in Icicle Spear range, as this is the regular Walrein. Icicle Spear doesn't quite do it, and that is a good game. Good leads continue in the next match, Obstagoon into Trevenant. Opponent is staying in this matchup, so it looks like Obstagoon is being a core breaker on this team as well. Going for the Night Slash right off the bat, Night Slash is able to connect, dealing a ton of damage. They're going to farm up a ton of energy, went for the catch onto Nidorina. Unfortunately, no catch to be had, and Nidorina will be met with Registeel. Poison Fang right off the bat, as Dig does not KO from full health. Nidorina continuing to farm. Unfortunately, without the ground subtyping, Zap Cannon does hit for heavy neutral damage, and Nidorina does get debuffed. Nidorina farming up quite a bit of energy here, going for the Poison Fang again, and again the opponent no-shields it. Not what you were hoping to see, but Nidorina with Poison Sting able to make it to the dig. Is Registeel going to respect it? They do not! It lands, but unfortunately it's not enough to KO. Nidorina is going to let this through, and now going to send in Obstagoon. Aggressive switch by the opponent as they send in Trevenant. Trevenant going for the Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb, and that ends up being a CMP sack swap by the opponent, so very nicely done. Night Slash does get shielded. Aggressive switch into Skarmory. Skarmory will be met with energy from the Trevenant. Trevenant makes it to the Shadow Ball. That does quite a bit of damage. Skarmory gets the farm down. We'll have to see. That Registeel's very low, so I'm expecting they're going to be sending in their final Pokemon here. They send in the Registeel instead. Registeel going to be met with the Sky Attack from the Skarmory here. Skarmory, Sky Attack, KOs the Regi. In the back is Stunfisk. Obstagoon can clean this up, and that is a good game. Picking up a very nice lead in the next match, Obstagoon into Galarian Stunfisk. Opponent save switches into a Trevenant, and they are core broken by Obstagoon. Nidorina has put in some very nice work, but Obstagoon proving its value as well, as it can be an incredibly effective core breaker for those who use ghost types as their anti-fighter. Trevenant baits with a Seed Bomb, and that's just gonna do absolutely nothing. Nidorina goes for the Poison Fang, Trevenant commits the shield. Trevenant trying to make a play for switch advantage, but Nidorina is not going to let that happen. Commits the shield. It's the Shadow Ball. Nidorina could have farmed a bit more there, but instead opting to go for the Fang right away. Fang is going to KO. Opponent is going to send in the Galarian Stunfisk. Stunfisk farming up a ton of energy, and they overfarm and let Nidorina get to the dig. This dig is going to do some solid damage onto the Stunfisk. Stunfisk is going to go for the Rock Slide here to grab the knockout. Rock Slide is going to be getting rid of the Nidorina, and at this point you can just send back in the Goon. In the back, the opponent has Azu, and this is a bit scary as Azu does have play against the Obstagoon Skarmory core. Skarmory farming up quite a bit of energy and able to win CMP over the Azu, going for the Sky Attack. Azu is going to let the first go, as Azu from that range could even tank a Brave Bird. Azu goes for the Hydro Pump, but it's shielded by Skarmory. Skarmory continuing to farm here. Skarmory is going to go for the Sky Attack, and again, able to win CMP over the Azumarill. Sky Attack is going to grab Azu's final shield. Even if this is the Hydro Pump, this is not going to KO Skarmory. They do full send the Hydro Pump there, but that's not going to be enough to KO. Skarmory goes for the Sky Attack, but a beautiful catch by the opponent, catching the Sky Attack onto the Galarian Stunfisk. Stunfisk will immediately be met with the Obstagoon. Obstagoon is going to have to tank a move here. Stunfisk did make it to the Earthquake, and that's gonna hurt. Obstagoon able to get the farm down. Back in comes Azu, but Azu is looking like 2 Night Slashes are going to KO here. Going for the first Night Slash. That's gonna get Azu low. Obstagoon makes it to the second Night Slash. This will be taking care of the Azu with resisted damage and securing the win. Bit of a tricky lead in the next match, Obstagoon into Shadow Swampert. Looks like gonna stay in this matchup to start. Obstagoon going for the Night Slash right off the bat into the Swampert. This Night Slash will do some solid chip damage. Opponent is gonna let that through, and unfortunately, we do not see a boost, but we see a very nice catch, catching the Hydro Cannon onto the Nidorina. Bad news for the Nidorina though is Nidorina doesn't have the greatest matchup here. Nidorina is going to shield up the Hydro Cannon. Nidorina continuing to farm, going for the Poison Fang right off the bat here, but this is a ground type. Is this going to be enough? Opponent is going to commit the shield, so they're really trying to get rid of the Nidorina, expending the final shield on the Nidorina. Can Nidorina Poison Sting down? It cannot, but the opponent is going to send in Altaria. At this point, the switch timers are very misaligned. Able to fire off the Poison Fang here, looking to switch out, and able to save the Nidorina for later and bring in Skarmory. Skarmory should have a lot of play here versus Altaria, especially because Altaria's defense has been lowered. So Altaria not going to be taking hits nearly as well. Skarmory farming up to the Sky Attack and going for it. This Sky Attack is going to hurt, getting the Altaria deep into the red. Altaria will be able to reach one final charge move here. Altaria goes for the Sky Attack. Skarmory able to tank it, looking for the farm down, and gets it. That's quite nice. In the back, the opponent has Registeel, and unfortunately, this is looking like it's going to be game over, as even though Obstagoon is still in play, Obstagoon will get absolutely crushed by a Focus Blast. Skarmory not able to make it to another Brave Bird. At this point, you just have to try and catch. But even a catch honestly won't win the game. Goes for the catch. Great patience by the opponent. They get the farm down, and we do see the top left there at the end. Hopping into the final match, leading Obstagoon into another Trevenant. You love to see it. Opponent is going to stay in this matchup, and man, a lot of teams look to be core broken by Obstagoon. Opponent makes a catch of the Night Slash onto their Galarian Stunfisk, and Obstagoon gets the boost, adding insult to injury. Obstagoon farms up and wins CMP with the Cross Chop as they reach the Earthquake. Cross Chop will get the shield. Opponent desperately trying to get rid of the Goon, but Goon can pretty safely shield and farm down here. Opponent does full send the Earthquake. Obstagoon is going to get the full farm down. Obstagoon leaves boosted with a ton of HP and a ton of energy, so things looking incredibly bad for the opponent here. Opponent is going to send in Lantern. Honestly, kind of nice to see the Lantern here, because these boosted Night Slashes are going to add up. Obstagoon going for Night Slash number 2 into the Lantern. This will be getting the Lantern below half health. It actually gets them into the red as Obstagoon boosts again. Obstagoon looking for the full sweep. Lantern goes for the Thunderbolt. That gets shielded. In comes the Trevenant. Trevenant will be met with the Night Slash here. Night Slash, it's at +4. It would easily KO. Trevenant expends the final shield here. Trevenant going for the Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb is going to get the Obstagoon low. Obstagoon will not get the full sweep. Absolutely heartbreaking there. But man, what a job by Obstagoon. You can just send in Skarmory and the opponent concedes the match. Honestly, XL NIDORINA left me a little surprised. It is extremely low ranked on PvPoke, so I wasn't expecting much, but that Poison Sting Poison Fang combination can definitely add up, and with Poison Sting generating faster energy than something like Poison Jab, you can fire off those fangs pretty quickly. I will say one downside, Dig, a pretty poor ground type charge move there in terms of damage per energy, but honestly, I mean, it's definitely not a Pokemon that's meta, but it is a Pokemon that feels like it does have some spice play. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.